Hello and welcome to my Algebra 1 students. We are looking at Chapter 8 and I am Miss April. We are covering order of operations today. I am sure that you have seen this somewhere, PEMDAS. I'm a little strange and I write mine differently. So I like to do this for my students because it's kind of grouped with the multiplication division being in the same level. They are inverse relationships. You need to move left to right. Addition, subtraction on the same level, moving from left to right. And we need to talk about grouping symbols. This P, it not only stands for parentheses, but it also represents brackets, curly braces. Those are fun to make. And your absolute value symbols as well. They all are included under that P for parentheses. They are symbols of inclusion. Now, this exponent doesn't just include exponents, but it also includes roots. Okay, so if you see any symbols of inclusions, you're going to do that first. If you see any roots or exponents, you'll be doing that before you do any multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. The only caveat to that is if you have things inside the parentheses that you really need to take care of, right? 2x minus 3x inside the parentheses, you need to do that first. And then even if it's raised to the second power, it gets a little complicated, but you need to be able to work this out. We don't usually write the 1, but I'll do it here. And then so what do we have? This just winds up being x squared, right? All right, so we'll talk a little more about that. Let's take an example from exercise 8.1. And let's see. Let's do number 16. I think that one looks fun. Okay. So number 16 looks like this. Okay, so we have to think about this. Logically, we can go ahead and let's just start on the left over here in the numerator because this is basically a division bar, right? And even though we have parentheses here, there's nothing in the parentheses to do. But those parentheses side by side do represent an operation of multiplication. We're going to talk about that in a second. So 4 plus 8 and 2 minus 5. So we're going to have our negative, right? Now remember that negative, it can be out here, it can be on top or the bottom, but just once. Okay, now let's look at this multiplication because we do need to simplify this. And we can't think cross multiplication, reduction. 25 goes into 25 once. 25 goes into 75 3 times. 6 goes into 6 once, goes into 12 twice. So now what do I have? I have 2 times 3 because they're both over 1. Now what do I do next? I have to do the multiplication next. So 2 times 3 is 6. Now I have the 12, the negative 12 thirds, and I moved it out to the side, the negative out to the side to logically move through this a little better. So I can reduce that fraction. So 3 will go into 12. How many times? 4 times. So now I have a negative 4 plus 6, which leaves me with, now here the positive number is greater, so I know my answer will be positive. So it leaves me with a 2. And that's my final answer for number 16. If we look at a different one, let's look at one, how about one with, let's see, number 6. So number 6 has an absolute value symbol. So let's take that out for a test run, yeah? This expression, it is an expression, there's no equal sign, so it can be simplified. 20 minus 30 leaves us with a negative 10. And again, I have to still concentrate on this negative 10, which the distance from the origin, the absolute value is the distance from the origin, or I can think, just knock off that negative. I'm left with 10 plus 10, which is 20. Piece of cake. All right, let's move on. So maybe you have heard of, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, as a mnemonic to help you remember PEMDAS. But I think PEMDAS in itself is memorable. In 8.2, we have some great examples here. And again, let's do number 16. I like the number 16. Okay, so number 16 looks like this. Maybe? Okay, there we go. Get my pen working. 5 plus 9 over negative 2 minus 5. And we're going to subtract 1/3 from that. But not just 1/3, it is being multiplied by 14 minus 2. Look at all these parentheses, isn't it exciting? Okay, so let's deal with what's inside the parentheses first. And, where to begin? Let's do the 5 plus 9. So we know that that's 14, right? And negative 2 minus 5 puts us more negative. We'll have a negative 7 there. I'll bring my 2 out here. Remember, there's no operation between the 2 and what's in the parentheses, so that means that it's multiplication. So if there's no sign here, if you don't see a plus, if you don't see a minus, then the implied operation is multiplication, 2 times whatever's inside that parenthesis. And I'll go ahead and write this. And 14 minus 2, well, that's easy enough. But look, again here, there's no plus sign or minus sign, so the implied operation is definitely going to be multiplication. Okay, multiplication, left to right. Now we do have subtraction here, so don't forget that. Okay, we can multiply what's on the left first. But I do see that what's in the parentheses over here, 14 over negative 7, will reduce. 7 goes into 14 twice. We do have a negative. Okay, so over here, rewrite this. It's okay to show every step. Now negative 2 times the 2 on the outside there, that's a negative 4. Negative times a positive gives us a negative. Go ahead and put my subtraction. And I'm doing 1/3 times 12. And I can pretend that 12 is a fraction. Right? I didn't change the value. And they are being multiplied, so I can do some cross elimination there. Cross reduction. So 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 12 4 times. So I have 1 over 1, 4 over 1. Well, 1 times 4 is 4. So what am I left with here? I have a negative 4 minus a 4. And what does that give me? Well, that gives me a negative 8. Easy enough. Let's move on. I'm thinking we should do one more from 8.2. Let's take a look at one of these with the fractional exponents. Yeah, let's do number 14. I do remember doing number 15 in class, so we're going to do number 14 together, okay? All right, we have 2 times 100, and that 100 is being, oops, I just started writing. Oh no, that's right. Okay, very similar to 15. Okay, so we have the 36, and outside of the parentheses, the whole thing's being raised to a 1/2 power. Okay, we can't apply the 1/2 power quite yet, and the reason is we want to take care of what's inside the parenthesis. It just kind of makes a little more sense. Then we can apply that 1/2. That 1/2 will not apply to the 2 on the outside over there. It's being multiplied. There's no addition or subtraction there, so it is multiplication. So 100 minus 36. That leaves us with a 64. You have the 2 out here, and that 1/2 now applies to the 64. So what are we doing? Well, remember when we raise something to the 1/2, we can, first let me show you what we're thinking here. Okay, I'm just going to do this. The 2's over here. I'm going to put that 1/2 on the inside because it's just applying to the 64 now. Let me remind you that when we have a fractional part, this is n, okay, which is our index here. We don't usually write a 2, but you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in under the radicand, and there's a 2 here. Whether I write it or not, it doesn't change the representation of it. Whatever that answer is will be multiplied by 2. So what times what gives us 64? I hope you said 8. So now we have an 8 and a 2. We multiply those 2 together. 2 times 8 is 16. Easy enough. All right, I'll see you for chapter 9. Have an awesome day.